Hi friends, this is Leela. Welcome to my ReactJS course. Now in this video we will see the remaining lifecycle hooks using the useEffect. Now here we are learning about this when component unmounted, right? So component unmounted, if you want to execute the code, so it will be little bit different. How it will be is, so you can use the same useEffect, okay? And here what you need to write, so like this you need to write. So instead of what we need to do, instead of writing the logic directly here, okay, instead of writing the logic directly here, you need to return a method, okay, you need to return a method. The code what could be written in this method, the returning method, it will be executed when the component is unmounted. Here component will fires when unmounted, okay. So but here you will be having one issue here. Let's try to see. So okay, fires when unmounted, so that means here the scenario is it should be fired when only the component is unmounted, okay. So right now we don't have this component unmounted, right? So right now what we'll try to specify, why? Because so here we cannot unmount this component, so there is no way that we cannot unmount this component. So that means we cannot, that method will not be fired anytime. So we will try to add a button in the app.js so that we will toggle the component. So here we are having already show counter and set show counter, right? Here what I will try to do, here I will try to write something like if show counter, if show counter is there, then show me that counter, okay. This type of things we have already discussed in the conditional looping in the ReactJS. So if show counter is true only, then it will go to the second condition, or otherwise if it is false means it will go away, okay. Now here top I will try to add a button such that here I will be having a button in such a way that button class name is equal to what I can write, so bg hyphen green I will write, okay, 600 text hyphen white px hyphen 3 py hyphen 1 toggle component, okay. Now here if I try to see, we are able to see the button. Now if I click on this button, I need to hide this component. If it is hidden means if I click again on this button, it should be visible. So what I will try to write here, on click, okay, on click is equal to, so here I will write an anonymous function and I will write set show counter of, I will toggle this one, show counter, okay. If it is true means it will become false, if it is false means it will become true. Now if I try to see, now let's try to see, okay, default what it is there, default it is true means the counter will be visible, fine. Now here fires on mounted and also update, okay, this effect is firing, and fires only on mounted, yeah, the component is mounted for the first time, it is firing. Now I am clicking the toggling, okay, here see fires when unmounted. So now when the component has gone, it is going away after firing this useEffect, okay. So that means we have successfully made this useEffect to fire only when the component is unmounted. Now if you try to see, if I click here again, what it is happening, fires on mounted and also update, yeah, what we have expected, that useEffect is firing, and also fires only on mounted, okay, this one is also firing, okay, done, perfect, nice. Now let's see, if you try to click on this increment, if you see here, fires when unmounted is firing, okay, and also fires on unmounted and also update is also firing. So what is happening here, so what will happen is, so before running this all the code, okay, so this useEffect will fire whenever any variable, any use state variable updates, here this one will fire, right. And this method also, the whatever the code written in this one also will fire first before executing this command. Why? Because we are returning this function. So this useEffect will fire whenever the component also updates, okay, and also update, okay. If you want to fire this component only fires when unmounted and also on update, this fire will fire. If you want to run only on update, you need to write in a such a way that you need to pass here empty array. We have already discussed it, right? So we only when mounted you need to fire. So here the update will go away. So now this return function will fire only when component is unmounted. Okay, when the component is unmounted only this one will fire. Now let's try to see the output here. If I try to refresh this one, so now what is happening? So as expected, the first two use effects are firing. Now I will click on the increment. Now here see what it is happening. Fires when unmounted and also on update. This one is firing first, unmounting first. It is unmounting, and then afterwards update is firing. Okay. So this is how you will be able to see. So now if I try to toggle this component, now what will happen? See, now when I toggle this component, both the things will be fired. Fires when unmounted and also update is firing. Fires when unmounted is also firing. Okay, this is the behavior of the use effect. So if you want to fire only in the unmounted thing, so you need to use a empty array. You need to pass empty array as the second parameter, or otherwise you can pass it directly on subsequent updates. Also, this one will fire first, and after that update code will fire. Okay. So this is the use effect. Now we have seen the unmounted and update, only unmounted, and this one also we have seen. Now we need to use this effect only when the component is updated. Okay, so this one is little bit of critical. It will be what it will be is, so now this use effect when it will fire, when this component completely rendered, then this use effects will be firing. Okay, this use effects will be firing. Use effect will fire on mounted and also on the update. If you pass this one up like this, an empty array means only when mounted it will fire, then update where whatever the variables we are mentioning here, it will update. So here we are not mentioning any variable, so that is the reason update is not firing. So now what we need to do is, so here we need to take one variable such that is mounted. Okay, and we need to use useRef. So how we have used that context.create ref, right? React.create like that, right? Create ref. So in the same scenario, we need to use useRef, and we need to pass the false. Okay, so first time it is not mounted. Now here what I can use, so here I can use useEffect. Okay, so this could be a function, this could be a function. Okay, this could be a function, and here if is mounted, if is mounted dot current. Okay, so that ref will be having a current, right? We have already discussed in the create ref. We know that it will be having a current. Now if is mounted dot current is there, so first time what it will try to do, it will be false. Why? Because we are not making any true, right? So if it is false, so then you need to do the console.log update fires when updated. Okay, so when it is true only, then you return. So now else, if it is there, else means then make it as true. So what I can do is mounted dot current is equal to true. I am making it as a true. So now what will happen? So now first it will try to is mounted is equal to useRef. It will try to execute, right? It will try to do is mounted is equal to useRef. So that means is mounted dot current will be false at the first time. So first it will be rendered completely. It will be rendered. Then afterwards it will come to the use effect. So that means mounted has been happened. So now when it tries to fire this use effect on mounted, it will check that it is current true or not. What it will do, first time it is false. Why? Because we haven't made it as a true. So then this subsequent logic will not execute. Then afterwards immediately what it will try to do, it will make it as a true. So then after it will try whenever any state objects or anything, it will try to fire this use effect, and it will see that now it is true. It will do the fires when updated. So that means only first time we are restricting the user not to go into the if condition. Then afterwards we are making it as a true, so that second updates and all those things, this will be executed. Okay, so this is little bit of like this we will be writing. So now if you try to see the output, so now if you see here the output of how it will be is, see here fires on mounted and also update, fires only on mounted, these two are executed. So that means only these two are component mounted, this one is executed, and also when component only mounted, these two are executed. So but this one is not executed. Now if I try to increment this one, if you try to see on mounted and also update is executed, fires on mounted and also update is executed. So what is this one? Fires when unmounted and also update. Okay, unmounting is executed first and mounted updated, and here if you are able to see fires when updated. So this one is also got executed. See, so that means when update only it will fire. So if you try to click here, update will fire. If I click on toggle, So if I click on toggle, only this one will fire. If I click here, this one will fire. If I click on toggle, immediately fires when unmounted and also update, and fires when unmounted is also fire. Okay, so in this way we can implement this use effect. Okay, and another thing what I want to mention is, for example, if I am having two variables, something like this, what I can say. So for example, if you want to mention, what I can say, if you want to mention here counter. Okay, so if you mention here counter, so if you have another one, something like what I can say, x value or set x. Okay, like this I am using set x is equal to 0, something like this I am using, and here I will be having something like another button. Okay, so I will be having another button, I am using increment x. So here I will try to do set x. Okay, x value something like I am using, so x plus 1. Okay, so here we are having two state variables, that is nothing but counter and x variable, and we are having two buttons. Okay, when we toggle here, we are having two buttons, increment and the increment x. One second, let us give some gap. Now if I try to refresh, so I am having gap here. Now if you try to see, so if I try to see this one, so I will let me comment out this all the things. Okay, so let me comment out up to here. I will try to show one use effect, one special scenario. Okay, here I am having this one, right? So this one will fire only on mounted, so this effect will fire only on mounted. So now if I try to see here the scenario, yeah, so now if I click, if I refresh this one, it fires only on mounted. So if I click on increment, so this one will not be fired, and increment x also, this one will not be fired, but increment x is happening. So now what we can see, so if you want to, for example, we will show it x value. Okay, now what I need to do is, so here, so what I need to do is, if I try to refresh this one, so we will be having x value 10 or something, x value 0. If I click here, it is upgrading. If I click here, it is upgrading this one. So now if I want to execute this use effect, okay, only when the counter is updated, when the counter variable is updated only, I want to execute this mounted code again. So then what we can do is, here we can mention the counter, so that what will happen is, whenever the counter variable is updated only, this method will be fired, or otherwise it will not fire. So if we try to see this output, the same output, if I try to refresh it, so now if I got an output. Now here if I click here, see, fires only unmounted is firing whenever the counter value is incrementing, but if I increment this x value, it is not incrementing. See, so now you can pass an extra variables, whatever the variables, you can pass the state variables. So in order to execute this use effect, if I pass x here, now this method will execute only when the x is updated. Okay, if I try to see, if I try to execute this one, increment, okay, so this one is not firing, and if I click on x, it is firing. See, you can pass multiple state variables also, you can pass this counter and here like this, so that this use effect will be fired only when the x variable and the counter variable is only updated. What this updated will do, this update will fire, this update will fire when any variable is updated, this one will fire. So when any variable updated, this one will fire. But here this use effect, we are restricting this update thing to a particular scenario, that it will fire only particular variables mentioned in this second parameter as an array. When only the variables present in this one updates only, this effect will fire. Okay, so this will increase the performance. Okay, so how it will increase the performance is, for example, for every subsequent updates, so there is no need for us to render the, what I can say, render the document, right? So that is the reason we will be using this use effect for this one. Okay, I hope you understood about this use effect. This is all how we will be using the use effect in the functional components. So hope you understood about these use effects. If you have any doubts or any suggestions, please post the comments below to this video. And if you like this video, please do support me by subscribing to my channel. Thank you.